I got Dodge Ram5500. It's a 2020 model, and I'm going to change the differential oil, so I thought I'd bring you along. Not a difficult process, just kind of messy and smelly. I just dropped $400, roughly, what, $387 or something like that for oil. So yeah, the oil's a little expensive. Just thought I'd get this thing draining. On my rear diff, you get two plugs. It takes a 3/8" wrench to get both of those plugs out, so I'm going to do that now. Just crack these loose. It's your drain, there's your vent. Like I said, you probably want to wear gloves for this job, because typically an axle will smell. Alright. Oh, didn't want to do that. So many times I could drop it in the oil. Okay, and I did run the truck for a couple minutes here. Let me open this up here so it drains halfway decent. So I did get some particles on both. To me that looks like normal wear. Doesn't look like there's any big chunks. There's a seal on this plug on the bottom. You want to make sure that that seal stays with the plug. They're both identical plugs, so if you inadvertently mix them up, I don't think it'll be a big deal. I'm going to let that drain while I get the other new stuff out. This I got directly from the dealership, but just thought I'd show you what they're using. It's a Wins 75W140 synthetic gear oil with friction modifier, and this does go in the rear axle. So it is a limited slip, so in order to keep the clutches lubricated you need that limited slip. If not, you will have a bunch of chatter coming from the rear axle, and not good because you'll ruin your plates. So I couldn't find the exact torque. These have got a seal on them, so not to tear the seal. I did clean the area in front of it. What I'm going to do is torque this to 216 inch-pounds. So I don't want to over torque it to shred that seal and then have a leaking diff all over the place. Alright, so I don't have the right pump head for this type of container, so I'm just using this pumper here. It's kind of old school, but you know, it works. I got 5 quarts of this to pump in, so I'm going to be here a while. Alright, so I've been pumping, got all 5 in there, so we should be good to go. Typically I'll fill it to the hole, but obviously 5 quarts didn't quite do that. I stuck my pinky finger in there and dried it off. Got my dipstick here. Yeah, she's about 1/8 of an inch down below the hole. That's right where we want it. I did put all 5 quarts in. Alright, no runs, no drifts. Got a torque to 18 foot-pounds, so we should be good. See any drips? Time to clean her up. Then do the front axle. Oh, here we are off on the front axle. And the front axle is going to take, I got the Mopar stuff, 75W85 synthetic axle lubricant. I got the Mopar stuff. It's because I wasn't going to take a chance on anybody else's oil. So I got 3 quarts of this. Now we've got to get into the axle. Yeah, you can see it. There's the drain hole. So I'm going to go ahead and get that loose. Alright, they're both loose. Guess I didn't get that loose enough. Okay. This oil seems to be coming out pretty cleanly. Again, remember you got seals on these. You got very little wear on this one. Alright, got those out. Let them drain for a little bit. So just inspecting these front ones. A little bit of gooey on the magnet, nothing major though. Probably a little more on the rear, but rear gets used all the time. This one does not. So just cleaning it up, make sure the seal's good. I mean, she ain't perfect, but you kind of expect a little bit of gear wear. No chunks anyway. There's no chunks coming out into the pan either, so that's a good thing. So the one thing I did do before I did the front end, the rear diff, is I drove it around for a little bit. Got the axles good and hot. Because it is a little bit chilly here in North Carolina. So I didn't want to have it come out because this stuff's like molasses. So I'm going to try this. I've never done it before. I'm going to try it anyway. Is try to put this. See if I can get that to go in. It ain't going to go in. No. Darn it. I'm glad I did that. Knocked y'all over. Sorry about that. I'm going to try one more like that. Definitely went faster than the rear axle. Alright. Well, it seemed to work. Guess I got one more to put in. That was kind of weird. I've never done that before. Guess I should have. There's this last one, because I don't think it's going to take it all. Because we're pretty close here. Okay. Well, this one should only take 2.5, I believe. Oh, there we go. Yeah, think you're full now. Yep. Yeah. Alright, so I got it dribbling out now, so let's see, she's full. Took about 2.5. Alright, target down. Oops. Alright, so that is the differential oil in a nutshell. Pretty simple, just a little messy. But it's kind of like draining engine oil times 2. Those are the front and rear axles. The front axle was pretty quick. Was able to squirt the juice in. So, alright. That was fun. Got that project done. Alright, so the last little bit we got to do on the truck, as far as mechanical maintenance, is to change the transfer case oil. I'm going to use the Mopar transfer case oil here. Again, I just went with the Mopar stuff because lately electronic stuff and all that stuff is getting kind of fussy on what oils you use, so I decided to put Mopar oil in. So just like doing the axles, you want to have the truck as level as you can. So I got it on the driveway, which about as level as I can get it. The transfer case is located right underneath the driver's seat, basically. If you crawl underneath the driver's side door, you'll see it. It's an item that kind of looks like a, I don't know, cornucopia, I guess. But it has 2 drive shafts, one coming out the front or out the back, and then one coming out the front. That transfers the power to the rear wheels. And what happens is once you engage this motor electronically, It changes gears and it shares power going to the rear axle and shares the power going to the front axle. So what the two things that I've got to remove are this drain plug and this fill plug. And I don't see no oil anywhere else, so usually when I'm under there I always inspect for oil leaks and stuff right away as well. I'm going to use a 3/8 inch wrench. Get it out of loosen. Okay, nothing on that magnet. Oh shit, had that there. Not expecting that. Well, that came out of there pretty quick. So AK, make sure you got your stuff covered. Yeah, that came jetting out of there. We'll let that dribble for a little bit here. That's why you put a good amount of cardboard down. Alright, so I don't want to tighten it quite all the way. Alright. Next thing we'll have to do is put the oil in. Try to get these to work. Hopefully it does. Snip at the end off. Oh, I guess I gotta take the seal off first. Probably helpful. All right. Yep. Use my little finger gauge there. It didn't quite take all 2 quarts. 1.6 quarts is what it took. She's full. But that's all there is to doing the transfer case. Pretty straightforward. I think just about anybody can do the axles in this. Probably do want to invest in one of those pumps and those pump handles things. You can usually get those at any hardware store that sells oil. Alright, so there you have it. That's the front and rear differential oil change and transfer case oil change. So did all 3. I got about 50,000 miles on the vehicle, so I thought I'd change that. Dodge recommends every 20,000 with heavy loads on the front and rear axles. I just run a 6,000 pound camper and a 5,000 pound boat on occasion, so we're not really running heavy loads. That's what the dealership told me, every 20,000, but you know, I'm gonna say it's probably good until at least 50 or 60, but that's me. Nothing official. I didn't see that anywhere in the documentation how long we're supposed to change that. So I think we're doing pretty well. So that's it for now. We'll talk to you later.